For him, money was never the goal, because money is not power. Control is, and with control comes obedience, submission, direction. He doesn't build to inspire, he builds to dominate, to design the rules. This is not a legacy, it's a transformation. This is the story of Elon. This is the story of control.
So that you don't know what you're talking about. I don't care.
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
People have called you the real Tony Stark. Okay, you've got your finger in so many different advanced technologies. As I said, SPACEX, Tesla, now you've got Solar City and the solar pack that people put in their houses. Are you sincerely trying to save the world?
Well, I'm trying to do good things, yeah. I mean, saving the world is not I mean...
But you're trying to do good things and
Yeah. America cared about being the good guys, you know?
So when everybody leaves, it's just Elon sitting at home, brushing his teeth, just a bunch of ideas bouncing around your head. When did you realize that that's not the case with most people?
When I was 5 or 6 or something. I thought I was insane.
And if this is what makes you sad, you are already in control. Before the rockets, before the electric cars, before the memes and Twitter takeovers, there was just a boy named Elon, born in apartheid South Africa, with a turbulent family and an obsession with science fiction. By age 12, he had coded and sold a video game called Blastar for $500. But behind the early promise was something darker. I was a lonely kid, Musk said, bullied badly. I would hide in the library to avoid beatings. Those bruises would become blueprints, because Musk wasn't just building companies, he was building defense systems for his future self. In the late 90s, while the world chased IPOs and Super Bowl ads, Elon co-founded XCOM, a risky online banking startup. No buildings, no ATMs, just code and ambition. He wasn't a finance guy. He didn't have Wall Street suits, but he did have a vision. Money is just an entry in a database. Why can't we move it like information? It was 1999. Nobody thought like this, except one group, the PayPal Mafia. When X.com merged with a small money transfer firm called Confinity, it gave birth to PayPal. But internal clashes exploded. Musk wanted X.com branding. The engineers hated his obsession with Microsoft architecture. While he was on vacation, they ousted him as CEO. Fact, in one of Silicon Valley's most infamous coups, Peter Thiel and Max Levchin removed Elon and replaced him with Thiel himself. Musk returned to find his office locked. Most would have quit. Instead, Musk stayed on and walked away with $180 million after PayPal's acquisition by eBay in 2002. But that money wasn't spent. It was deployed across a strategy no one understood yet. You see, PayPal didn't just mint money, it minted a network. Out of that single startup came Peter Thiel, Palantir Reid Hoffman, LinkedIn, Steve Chen, YouTube, David Sacks, Yammer Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, OpenAI. This wasn't a coincidence. The PayPal Mafia quietly seeded and shaped every pillar of Web 2.0. And at the center of it was Elon. Never the most charismatic, never the best at politics, but the one playing the longest game. They say Elon made some money and started Tesla. But this is where the true control architecture began. He learned how boards can remove founders. He learned why infrastructure beats hype. He learned the power of building closed ecosystems. He saw how information, money, and loyalty flow through tightly controlled digital platforms. And he built a personal conviction: never be replaceable again. From that moment on, every company Musk would build was structured to ensure total vertical integration. Hardware, software, distribution, marketing, even memes, all under one name, all under one brain. They thought he was building a car, but he was building a global operating system. Most people think Tesla is a car company. They're wrong, because Tesla doesn't just move people. It moves data, money, energy, and maybe even influence. It's not just transportation. It's a new kind of civilization packaged inside a vehicle. Let's unpack what Tesla really is. Every Tesla runs on lithium-ion batteries, and while the world sees innovation, Elon sees leverage. Tesla controls not just the production of EVs, but the entire supply chain behind them. Let's talk numbers. Tesla is building the world's largest battery factory in Nevada. In 2023 alone, Tesla secured contracts with Piedmont Lithium, Sigma Lithium, and Ganfeng Lithium, spanning North America to South America to China. The Lithium Triangle, Chile, Bolivia, Argentina, holds over 60% of the world's reserves. And guess who's making quiet deals there? Not car executives, Tesla agents. Some say this is the new oil. And Elon Musk? He doesn't just want to use it. He wants to control the faucet. "We have to secure lithium," Musk tweeted. "Otherwise prices will explode." But it wasn't just a supply warning. It was a flex. Autopilot. The feature everyone praises, fears, or misunderstands. What you call self-driving, Elon calls data acquisition. Every Tesla on the road acts as a rolling camera, feeding real-time footage back into Tesla's neural net. No other car company tracks your route, records your driving behavior, uses your errors to update a global AI model every day. In fact, every time you drive a Tesla, you're training a robot you don't own for a network you don't control. Tesla's FSD, full self-driving system, had collected over 5 billion real-world miles of driving data by late 2023. Google's Waymo? Barely a tenth of that. But here's the chilling twist. Tesla doesn't just collect road data, it also records in-cabin video, including your facial expressions. You didn't just buy the car bought you. It started with the car. Then came the Powerwall. At first glance, a battery for your house. But dig deeper. It's a home energy ecosystem. By combining Tesla solar roofs, Powerwalls, and vehicle charging ports, Elon created a system where your home's energy, transportation, and storage are managed by one app. And who controls the update servers for that app? Not you, Tesla. During Texas's 2021 power crisis, some Tesla homes stayed online. Not because of the grid, but because they had opted out of the grid. And the question becomes, is Musk liberating users from utilities, or building his own parallel grid, where he's the utility? In February 2023, Tesla recalled over 362,000 vehicles with full self-driving beta, but didn't tow a single car. Why? Because they did it remotely. Over-the-air updates let Tesla fix, change, or disable features in your car without your permission. Let that sink in. If Elon wanted, he could set all Teslas to speed limit mode, disable cars in a protest zone geofence movement, or shut down an entire city's worth of vehicles overnight. This isn't theory. It's documented in Tesla's user agreement. You own the hardware, but they own the code. And in the digital world, code always wins. Behind the sleek UIs and charging stations lies something more primal: belief. Tesla's fans don't just buy cars, they buy into a narrative that legacy car makers are dinosaurs, that governments are slow and corrupt, that Elon is the only one who can lead us to salvation, electric, efficient, and interstellar. This isn't just a brand, it's a cult of acceleration. And the more Elon leans into it, the less accountability his empire faces. Tesla is not a car. It is a surveillance device, a grid interface, a training module, and a belief system. all wrapped in the illusion of personal freedom. You think you're driving the future, but maybe the future is driving you. For most of us, space is distant, a curiosity. For Elon Musk, it's leverage. Because while we were watching rockets, he was planting flags no government can touch. In 2002, Elon Musk founded a company that was supposed to be a joke. The aerospace community mocked him. NASA ignored him. And when the first 3 Falcon 1 rockets failed, everyone assumed he'd walk away. But failure only sharpened the mission. He'd rather die on Mars than live on Earth doing nothing. The 4th rocket worked. The 5th landed NASA's first private contract. And the 6th gave birth to something far bigger than space travel. In 2019, SpaceX quietly began launching satellites. Lots of them. At first, people saw them as a quirky idea. Starlink. High-speed satellite internet anywhere on Earth. But by 2024, Starlink had launched over 5,000 satellites with plans for 42,000. It became the largest satellite constellation ever created. And it was transmitting internet to over 70 countries. At face value, impressive. But underneath, a seismic shift in global power. You see, Starlink satellites don't belong to any government, aren't regulated by the UN's Outer Space Treaty in any meaningful way, operate in low Earth orbit, just far enough to be above the law, yet close enough to watch you. Think about it. When Musk activated Starlink over war-torn Ukraine, he didn't ask for permission. He just did it. He became the infrastructure for an entire country's defense communication. Ukrainian forces used Starlink to coordinate drone strikes, maintain encrypted communications, evade Russian jamming signals. Some say it turned the tide of war. And then Musk refused to extend coverage to Crimea, reportedly to prevent escalation. One man made a battlefield decision that rewrote geopolitics, without election, without oversight, just one call. By 2023, SpaceX had become the top Pentagon launch contractor, surpassing Boeing, Lockheed, and Raytheon. Its Falcon Heavy rocket could deliver surveillance, reconnaissance, and even classified payloads to space, faster and cheaper than any government program. Let's break it down. In 2020, SpaceX was awarded a $316 million contract to launch U.S. military satellites. By 2024, that number had crossed $3 billion. Starlink began exclusive encrypted communication trials with the U.S. military. But here's the catch. SpaceX isn't bound by public transparency. It's a private company controlled almost entirely by Musk. That means no congressional oversight, no public budget audits, no voting on missions. SpaceX is effectively a shadow military contractor with more launch capability than most countries, and it's run by one civilian. When Starlink was banned in Iran, local users still accessed it by smuggling dishes. When the Russian army tried to jam Starlink's signal, it failed. And when a natural disaster wiped out communication in Tonga, Starlink restored it in 24 hours. The technology is impressive, but the implications are unnerving, because unlike traditional ISPs, Starlink can geo-fence regions. It can throttle internet without warning, and Elon Musk can decide who gets turned off. No international authority governs this, and in the future, if Starlink partners with financial networks, ID verification, and digital services, you may not just lose access to the internet, you may lose your entire digital identity. Astronomers have warned about Starlink's impact on the night sky. Competing satellite companies accuse SpaceX of orbital dominance, and they're not wrong. Musk controls over 60% of all active satellites in low Earth orbit. He's applying for exclusive frequency bands to block future competitors, And he's proposing a second-gen system that would beam directly into phones, bypassing towers entirely. This isn't just internet access, it's telecom warfare, and Musk is winning. We once believed the sky was free, that no one could own it. But today, one man has filled it with machines that speak his code, and tomorrow, he might use them to shape the world beneath them. There's a war coming, not between countries, but between human consciousness and code. And Elon Musk may already be building the battlefield inside your brain. When Neuralink was first introduced, the headlines were optimistic. Brain chip cures paralysis. A see with a chip, walk with a chip. Hope for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's patients. The pitch was humanitarian. The implications were revolutionary, because Neuralink's first goal, Musk said, was to fix broken brains. But let's be clear, this isn't just about healing, it's about interface. Right now, the most powerful companies in the world compete to hold your attention. Social media, advertisements, notifications, clicks. But what if they didn't need your fingers or your eyes? What if they could go straight to the source, the cortex? That's Neuralink's vision. A coin-sized chip implanted beneath your skull, connected to your brain via threads thinner than a hair read-write capabilities for thoughts, emotions, memories, and while you're imagining sci-fi, Elon Musk has already implanted the chip in monkeys, pigs, and in 2024, a human. In January 2024, Neuralink announced its first successful human trial. A paralyzed man who had not moved in years was now controlling a computer cursor using only his thoughts. Incredible? Yes, but also the start of something irreversible. Because while the public focused on miracles, the engineers were quietly mapping live brain activity, measuring emotional reactions, tracking impulse spikes from external stimuli. This wasn't just rehabilitation, it was a data harvesting revolution. For the first time in human history, a private company was reading thoughts, storing them, and maybe, soon, shaping them. You might think this is still a medical company. It's not. Neuralink has filed patents for multi-device integration, hired ex-Apple engineers for wearable syncing, partnered with Dojo, Tesla's AI supercomputer, for real-time brain data processing. And here's the curveball. Neuralink is not FDA regulated in the same way pharmaceuticals are. It's a tech company, not a hospital. That means your neural data may not be protected like health data. You may not own your own brain patterns. And when Musk says Neuralink will someday allow telepathic communication, you should ask, who's doing the listening? The rich used to wear Rolexes. Now they wear data. And in the future, Neuralink could become the ultimate class divide. Want to compete in the job market? Get the chip. Want to learn 100 times faster? Get the chip. Want to run your Tesla with your mind? Get the chip. This isn't about healing anymore, it's about enhancement. And those who say no will be economically, cognitively, socially obsolete. The final phase isn't hardware, it's convergence. Tesla trains Dojo on billions of miles of human driving behavior. X trains AI on political opinions, biases, emotional reactions. Starlink provides the always-on network. Neuralink reads your brain. Put it all together and you don't just have a brain chip. You have a neural feedback loop between one man's ecosystem and the collective subconscious of millions of people. That's no longer science fiction. It's a prototype for God-level computation. And the question isn't, will Neuralink work? It's, who gets to write the firmware of your mind? There was a time when Twitter was the world's town square. Now it might be something else entirely. When Elon Musk bought Twitter in 2022, most thought it was a vanity move, a billionaire playing CEO, but they weren't paying attention. Because this wasn't just a platform acquisition. It was the final node in Musk's empire. Tesla owned your mobility. Starlink controlled your internet. Neuralink mapped your brain. And now, X controlled your voice. He paid $44 billion above market price. He fired the entire board. He gutted 70% of the staff, and then he opened the gates. Suspended accounts came back. Journalists were kicked off. Advertisers fled, and Elon tweeted through it all. Free speech, he said, is the bedrock of a functioning democracy. But free speech, on whose terms? On the surface, it was ideological, but dig deeper. Twitter wasn't just a social media platform, it was a global data stream of public consciousness, a reputation machine, a news pipeline that set the day's narrative, and a tool to control perception in real time. When regulatory bodies attacked Tesla, Twitter could drown the headlines. When critics surfaced, Musk could, quote, tweet them into oblivion. When governments demanded censorship, he decided whether to comply. In other words, he didn't just own a company, he owned the conversation. In mid-2023, Musk did the unthinkable. He deleted Twitter. Overnight, it became X, a symbol tied to his 1999 dream. X.com, the everything app. Most users were confused, but insiders weren't, because X isn't just a brand change, it's a blueprint. Elon's goal? One app to do everything: messaging, payments, video, identity like China's WeChat, but global, unregulated, and run by one man. X is no longer a microblog, it's a bank coming soon, a streaming platform, a news filter, a crowdsourced intelligence tool, a pay-to-speak ecosystem. In other words, it's a digital country where you work, hire, post, talk, tweets, spaces, pay, crypto payments, consume media, XTV, build identity, follower count, your passport, and like any nation, X controls speech laws, what gets seen, social currency, what gets rewarded, mob justice, what gets ratioed or banned. The algorithm used to be mysterious. Now it's personal. Elon released parts of X's code in 2023, but left out key sections, including political visibility filters, spam flags on specific ideologies, amplification logic for verified users. Result? Those who pay $8 a month get algorithmic advantage. More reach, more replies, more power. Free speech? Maybe, but only if you pay for volume. And Musk himself? He's now performing account on X by design. Coincidence or central planning? The long game isn't just content, it's integration. Tesla already displays X on screen. Neuralink's demo showed cursor control for on-screen text. Starlink offers onboard connectivity for remote regions and possibly exclusive platform access. Imagine a future where your Tesla car tweets your location, your brain scrolls without hands, your ID is linked to your X account, and dissent can be muted at the network level. This isn't a conspiracy, it's just convergence. We once feared censorship from governments, but the future may not be authoritarian, it may be privatized. Elon Musk never declared war. He never ran for office. He never asked for your permission. But bit by bit, network by network, he built something more powerful than a government. He built an operating system. Tesla moves you. Starlink connects you. X speaks for you. Neuralink listens to you. Dojo learns you. Optimus replaces you. Each part, one more line of code in a global script. And you're already running on it. He didn't conquer nations, he replaced their core functions. Transportation, private, energy, privatized, communication, filtered, currency, in progress. Thought, uploading soon. This isn't domination, it's integration. A soft empire with no borders. The future will be strange. It'll be different. Maybe Elon Musk didn't want to rule the world. Maybe he just wanted to be the only one who could log in. You're not living in a country anymore. You're living inside his codebase.